This podcast is sponsored by Borfindel's Dwarf Spirits. Guaranteed to blow your head off. I mean, really. I've seen it. One sip and boom. I'm not entirely sure I see the point, but they seem quite popular. Anyway, order Borfindel's Dwarf Spirits now at the introductory price of 14 groats per gallon and get a pint of goblin spittle for free.
All the tabletop role-playing news, we aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG.
Hello, and welcome to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I, as always, am Morris, aka Russ, or Russ, aka Morris, and with me is my regular co-host,
Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers. Russ, as ever, it's both marvellous and a pleasure to be here.
How the devil are you, Peter?
I'm damn fine.
Oh, how's your week been, Peter? What have you been up to?
I'm trying to think, what have I been up to? Dancing, mostly. Not so much RPG stuff, but a lot of dancing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been getting ready for a Savage Worlds game that I'm going to run.
Yes.
The Adventure Edition has come out. I've actually taken the time to look at the PDF, which is a sterling work on my part. And yeah, I really like the changes they've made. They've rationalised character creation. They've actually highlighted the key skills that always needed highlighting but were never before. I'm like thinking, yeah, this looks like this will be fun.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So next Sunday I'll be running Savage Worlds for a select band of some precious brand of brothers. And all hold themselves accursed, and their manhood cheap that they don't want to hear that St. Crispin's Day.
I have no idea what you just said.
Neither do I. We should probably edit that out. Daryl will leave it in because he likes making sounds.
Peter tries to say words and fails.
Peter says words. It's a new part of the podcast where Peter just says whatever comes into his head. Apparently it's all possibly hashtag Team Peter. Remember to let us know on Discord.
Now, should we do some news?
Oh, if we must.
Alright then.
I suppose we should.
Did you know that the Acquisitions Inc. book has been announced?
The Acquisitions Inc. book?
Yeah. Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yes.
Which we've known about for, a month or two now? We've definitely mentioned it on the podcast, and it's been all over like the news and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
But the actual press release dropped into my email inbox this week. And I looked at it and I thought, I know. But I think this is the first time it's actually been officially announced by Wizards of the Coast. Is what this was.
Oh, we must be getting closer to they've done the official announcement.
It says, D&D announces Acquisitions Incorporated, a book providing the flavour of Acquisitions Inc. within the Forgotten Realms.
Ooh.
You know what I've noticed about Wizards of the Coast recently? They don't refer to themselves as Wizards of the Coast anymore. They call themselves D&D.
Good shout.
All their press releases, for example, go D&D announces, whereas they used to say Wizards of the Coast announce.
They have probably realised that people are like, Wizards of the who?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But they know who D&D is.
But D&D is not a person, though.
Well, exactly.
Whereas Wizards of the Coast is a company of a people D&D concept. They cannot announce anything.
So somebody says it's a game.
Unless it is becoming self-aware and is now announcing itself. D&D has become the first ever self-aware role-playing game. D&D is the role-playing game equivalent of Skynet, and it is announcing itself.
So the podcast is becoming self-aware.
The podcast became self-aware long ago.
I see. Yes.
Anyway.
Self-referential, possibly.
Yes, possibly. Anyway, so yes, the Acquisitions Incorporated book's been announced. It's a 224-page book coming out June the 18th, and it's obviously a sort of humorous slice of the Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, I do enjoy the Penny Arcade style of art. It is quite pretty. I enjoy it. So yeah, that should be good at some point to see that.
Yes. Did you know that someone made a D&D cookbook?
A D&D cookbook. I think I've got a Lord of the Rings one kicking around at home.
It's complete with monster part ingredients.
Tricky to acquire. Go on.
It was produced by an outfit called Mist Factor Press.
Oh yeah.
And is a supplement intended to provide handouts for players as they explore the domain of the vampire Strahd von Zarovich, or as we like to call it, Ravenloft.
Yes.
Yes. It was
possibly another one of those things where people are like, Raven who?
It was intended as an April Fool's Day gag, but the recipes are kind of legitimate, and you can sort of do them in the real world.
Including the monster parts.
Some of the dishes include harpies vocal cords with moss pesto, wolf steak with sacrificial lamb blood sauce, intellect devourer flambe, and curatoa head on papilote. Papilote.
I see.
It includes a list of ingredients with substitutes in case your local grocery store doesn't have intellect devourers or black pudding on their shelves. Well, they probably have black pudding.
But it depends upon where you are, really. Depending around to here, but up Yorkshire, where I'd expect some black pudding at the butcher's. So, what about? Does it give any guidance about whether you want to substitute tofu or perhaps some textured vegetable protein in
That
case
much
of your
I
indentation
don't know,
monsters?
but I'm sure it would be easy to do.
Okay.
You could replace your harpy's vocal cord with a nice slice.
Interesting.
Lovely.
Yes. Perhaps there'll be something from the Corn or Beyond Meats.
Unless harpies' vocal cords are made of corn, how do you know they're not?
It's entirely possible that harpies have textured mycoprotein vocal cords. We just don't know. More research needed.
Hey, do you remember a few months ago we talked about how John Wick...
Who?
John Wick.
I know who John Wick is. I'm sorry, Russ. I had to say that just to see your face.
Not Keanu Reeves.
Not Keanu Reeves. Oh, okay.
Not that John Wick.
Oh, the other John Wick.
John Wick, who created
John Wick, the games designer.
Yes, who created the 7th Sea game. Back in, I think it was like 99 or something like that.
Yeah, sometime.
Did the Kickstarter a few years ago. Was that 3 years ago? Which was the first ever RPG Kickstarter to break $1 million and is still, I think, the second biggest ever after Matt Colville's one.
Yeah, it made approximately all the money.
Yeah. So last year, he had to announce that he was laying off staff and dramatically slowing down fulfilling the Kickstarter rule.
Well, yes. Didn't he have issues where he was trying to do more Kickstarters, but they could not then be fulfilled?
There was a board game, I believe, that he tried to do, and
brave.
That didn't take off nearly as well as the 7th Sea original. And there was the 7th Sea Kitai Kickstarter, which also didn't do nearly as well. And I suspect that these follow-up Kickstarters were supposed to do as well as the original.
I
don't know. I can't got any insight into his...
Well, or at least better than they did. Yeah.
But anyway, the news here is that he has now sold 7th Sea to Chaosium.
Oh, interesting.
Which is must be heartbreaking in a way.
Yeah.
Because he writes this game in 99.
Yes.
Published, it's popular, develops a fan base. And then, 20 years later, he manages to reacquire the rights to it off of AEG, Black Entertainment Group. And that must have been amazing for him, reacquiring the rights to this game that he created, which has such a fan base. And he must have been super, super happy. And then, off the back of that, he runs a Kickstarter, and it's, at the time, the biggest RPG Kickstarter ever. I mean, we're talking he must be over the moon, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it all starts to go wrong, and now he's had to sell it off to a company like Chaosium.
Well, it's in safe hands with Chaosium.
Yeah, but it must be heartbreaking still, though.
Well, yeah, it's sometimes if you love something, you have to let it go, Russ.
Yeah.
It might be that he's going to go on and do something even bigger and better.
Well, he's joined Chaosium.
Oh.
And he's basically heading up the line.
Oh, okay.
So basically, they've hired him and bought the rights off of him.
I see. So he's not exactly given away not sold off 7th Sea, never to see it again, never to be involved with it. It's more he's hey, Chaosium, would you like to have me and 7th Sea?
Yeah.
They're yes.
Well, this means now that the Kickstarter backers are going to get all of their rewards. Chaosium's done this before. It's rescued a Kickstarter, and so it's not the first time they've done that.
Yeah.
So it looks like all the backers are going to get their rewards now. But that's
fantastic.
Quite big news there.
Yeah. That's good stuff. I'm looking forward to renewed interest in 7th Sea. I've never actually seen a game of 7th Sea. Never played in it. Sad times, man.
You should remedy that.
I would definitely love to remedy it. But it's just a question of it's an eternal GM problem. You always end up running the games that you want to play, which is something that I'm trying to do stuff about.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
For the page to load up to give us some more news. Mongoose Publishing.
Yes. Creators of Traveller, if I recall.
Not the creators of Traveller.
Well, okay.
The current license holders of Traveller.
Oh, that's right. Yes, the creator of Traveller.
Traveller very much predates Mongoose Publishing.
Yes, and that's what I know them for. And also a previous and dare I say it, lesser version of Just Red.
They are bringing back the Journal of the Traveller's Aid Society. So this was...
Is this a zine thing?
so this was back in 1979 through to 85.
Okay, right, yeah.
It was a series of game supplements for Traveller back then,
Nice.
published in periodical format. This is back when Traveller was really big.
Yeah.
That was like Traveller's golden age, I guess, back then. It got briefly revived in the 90s by Imperium Games, and Steve Jackson Games revived it from, I think it was like 2000 to 2015 as an e-zine. Or e-zine. So this journal is being revived yet again, this time by Mongoose Publishing, who are the current publishers of Traveller.
Yes.
And they're gathering material from the original run, as well as other fan-based publications from the era, and updating it for use with their current edition of the game.
Nice.
So the initial run is going to be 328-page books, published in a sort of digest-sized format, with additional books released every 2 to 4 weeks. That's quite aggressive, isn't it?
A challenging schedule.
Yeah. So there's a Kickstarter campaign, which is doing fairly well at the moment. It's over 70 grand now, with over 700 backers.
Yep.
And the goal of it was under 20 grand, so...
Okay, so it's about $10 per backer, so...
Yeah,
$700...
$94.
$94 per backer?
Yes.
Okay.
Not 10.
Well, hold on.
70 grand, 700 backers.
Oh, yeah. So that's nearly, okay. I thought...
You were out by a factor of 10.
I was.
Yeah. Well, so Wizard of the Coast listened to our podcast.
Wizard of the Coast listened to our podcast?
Listened to our sketch
and
decided that was a blueprint rather than a parody. And because they have announced an announcement.
Yes.
And the announcement is going to be made at 1 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
I see.
In a live stream.
Are we going to have to go back and refile that from sketch to news item? Possibly some sort of meta-analysis of the industry.
Yeah, so just to clarify, Wizards of the Coast definitely have not listened to our podcast, but... Well, I assume
they might have.
Seems
Rodney might.
unlikely.
Although Rodney doesn't
unlikely.
count anymore. Sorry, Rodney.
Seems unlikely.
Now, are they Wizards of the Coast or D&D? Has D&D listened to our podcast?
Yes.
Well, Wizards of the Coast might not have listened to our podcast,
But D&D might have done.
D&D almost certainly has.
In
It knows
self-aware
all.
capacity.
Exactly, it knows all, sees all. It's there, watching now.
So they have announced the reveal of the next D&D adventure hardcover.
Yes.
This is going to be unveiled at The Descent, an event in LA on Friday, the 17th of May, at 4 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, or midnight British Summer Time.
Yay. I'll be sure to stay up to watch it. Oh, no, that's so mean.
So if you wanted to go to this live, you'd have to get to LA.
Yes.
It would then cost you $300 to get in.
$300, okay, yeah.
And then you get to, with a studio audience, witness the unveiling of the new D&D storyline on Friday night, or Saturday morning, at 1 a.m.
So
it's not 1 a.m. there, but it's 1 a.m. everywhere else in the world.
Yeah, but so Wizards of the Coast, right, are charging people $300 to come to their press release. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's certainly a marketing target.
They did that last year, and it went really well with that stream of many eyes thing.
Yeah.
They've done it for 2 or 3 years now.
Goodness. I have to admire their moxie.
You also get to play in a 3-hour session of a D&D Adventurers League epic, previewing the elements from the new storyline.
The epics are quite fun.
You get a D&D swag bag, including merchandise from D&D partners, and an advanced copy of Ghosts of Saltmarsh.
Ooh.
You get to mingle with D&D partners.
Oh, I do love good mingle.
And other characters in the story-themed marketplace area, and participate in the cosplay storyline interspersed throughout the event.
Cosplay storyline.
And finally, you get to attend a live music performance celebrating D&D from artists assembled by Chris Funk on Sunday night to close out D&D Live 2019.
An appropriately named person to do such a auspicious musical festival.
Speculation as to what the storyline is. So it's called the event that is going to announce the storyline, which they've just announced.
Yes.
The event they've just announced, not the storyline.
No,
it's very
not the
confusing.
actual storyline.
I do feel like that we are reenacting our own sketch.
Like I say, definitely needs to be.
So I am pleased to announce that Wizard of the Coast has announced that the reveal of the new D&D storyline will be announced in
Focus, Mus.
So
Focus.
this event is called The Descent.
Yes.
And it is the event at which the D&D storyline will be announced, and they've just announced that event.
Yes, we understand now, Russ.
Okay, right. I just
Thank
wanted
you.
to clarify.
Yes.
So there's a piece of art that goes with it.
It is quite
This
a nice
This
piece
is
of art.
the only clue we've really got so far.
Well, what I'm seeing is I'm going to go out and say some sort of celestial angel. She's wearing a blindfold, which indicates some sort
she's
of
quite
angel
glowy.
thing. Yeah, definite sort of angel thing going on.
Looks like she's got wings.
Oh, look, there's clearly wings going on.
Yeah.
Wings, armour, blindfolded, some sort of angel, potentially of justice. And there's like all sorts of like clawed hands.
Reaching
beneath.
out to her.
Yeah, so it looks like some sort of like, I don't know, Celestials versus Abyssals deathmatch.
Yeah, it makes me think of A Paladin in Hell.
Yeah.
That old piece of art, and it was there was a adventure, I believe, wasn't it? Written by, was it Monty Cook? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was Monty Cook about it.
Yeah, okay. So do you think they might be revamping some of that stuff? Or...
Maybe. I'm basing it literally off a piece of art, just like you are.
Well, to be fair, we're going to give them some airtime and speculate upon their announcement of the pre-announcement.
Yeah, so that's from May 17th to 19th in Los Angeles.
Yes. Why, it's only $300 for a ticket. It sounds completely worthwhile.
And a plane ticket. And a hotel somewhere.
You might not take a plane, might live in LA. I'm sure all our listeners in LA will be sure to write in and tell us what it was like.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you can watch the announcement live streamed at the same time. At Paizo, they've launched a new actual play live stream on their Twitch channel.
Oh, yeah?
It's called The Oblivion Oath. Mm-hmm. And it's using the final Pathfinder 2nd Edition rules. And it's being run by Jason Borman, the lead designer.
Nice.
With various players, including Gabriel Walakonis as the Lizardfolk Rogue Zell.
Okay.
Katina Davis as the Gnome Wizard Micah.
Okay.
Sarah Marie as the Dwarf Champion Karina. Mm-hmm. And Owen Casey Stevens as the Goblin Sorcerer Quandle.
What was that last name?
Quandle.
Sorry, I just had to make you say that again.
Quandle. Is that wrong?
No, it just sounds really funny to me.
It does sound funny. Quandle. Quandle.
Quandle.
I can't think of another way to pronounce that.
Anyway. Okay, so hopefully the designer will hopefully know how to run it, which is always a good thing. And let's see, so that's what the third podcast that Paizo have sponsored. You've got, Glass Cannon, which I know you're generally quite fond of.
This is a Twitch stream.
Oh, Twitch stream?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the difference?
An actual play, Twitch stream is where they do a live thing and you watch them play.
Oh, I see.
Whereas a podcast is a thing that you download and...
So you can watch them live as they Twitch away and play. Thrill as someone looks at the rules. Gasp as someone rolls their dice onto the floor.
I assume that's not going to happen.
Most
of those actual play Twitch streams really are. They really do focus. They make like we are sitting
absolutely.
here and we are playing for the next 3 hours. No distractions.
Whoa.
They're very good at it.
Get in.
Way better than your average table, when your friend's house.
That's fair.
With all the chit chat and people wandering off and all the...
I do sort of quite like Adventures League for that sort of reason. It's because you've got that time limit.
Yeah.
And you know what? You do play solidly for that time. And it is quite nice. But there are problems and so forth. But yeah.
There's going to be a Paranoia video game.
What? As in the Paranoia?
Yes, the Paranoia. The tabletop RPG Paranoia is going to be a video game.
So you're saying I could be Commie Mutant Scum and will have no need of a GM to run it?
I guess so, yes. I guess that's exactly what I'm saying.
I'm listening.
So I don't know an awful lot about it. It's going to be available later this year.
Yes.
There's no specific date and price sort of authorised for our clearance levels yet.
Well, of course.
We do know it's going to be on Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC, and it's coming from Black Shamrock and Cyanide Studios.
Ooh. That does sound fun.
It does sound fun.
Yes.
What else do we have in new D&D board game, Dungeon of the Mad Mage?
That is quite a box it's got there.
Yeah. So there's an expansion to the Adventure System board game line.
Oh, yeah.
They've made various board game lines.
Yeah.
So it's cross-compatible with the other games in the line.
Nice.
And there's 2 sets available. There's a standard, which is $79.99.
Okay.
And it has unpainted miniatures.
Super.
And there's a premium edition with painted miniatures for $159.99. So how much are you paying there for them to paint their miniatures for?
$160 and $80, so $80.
Is it worth $80 to paint the miniatures?
I don't know. Let me just do a quick check. How many miniatures have I painted in the past? 5 years. 0. How many miniatures have you painted in the past 5 years?
0.
Well, there you go.
But I do often,
if you want
I do often buy pre-painted plastic miniatures off eBay for about £1 each.
Well, there we go.
Which makes me feel that $80.
Well, that's like 80 quid, so or thereabouts.
There's a quick Paizo product roundup. Paizo have got... I'm loving Paizo at the moment because I'm currently collecting their flip mats.
Yes.
Love them. They're my favourite accessory of all time now.
It's true. Russ does love... Say one thing for Morris, say he loves flip mats.
I've got about 10 of them now.
Woo.
And I'm going to... I looked at them, there's bloody loads of them.
So many.
Dozens of them. So it's going to take me quite a long time to get them all. But they're so useful.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on. So Pathfinder campaign setting, Tyrant's Grasp poster map folio.
Interesting.
That's like one of my names or something, isn't it? It's quite long.
But descriptive, from it I would deduce that there is a poster map folio.
Yes, it's 3 beautifully illustrated poster-sized maps based on the Tyrant's Grasp adventure graph. Path.
What did I just say? You said graft. I don't know why.
I don't know.
Focus, Russ.
The Tyrant's Grasp adventure path. There we go.
One last time, so if you say it properly.
The Tyrant's Grasp adventure path.
Bravo, well done.
Yes.
You may continue.
There is also the Pathfinder player companion Chronicles of Legends.
Ooh.
And this is for post 15th level characters.
Nice.
Pack your end level character with new, more powerful traits that grow in strength as you level, new ways to use and abuse your favourite spells, and even some feats that might make you consider giving prestige classes the time of day.
Intriguing.
The real pay dirt here, it says, is the magic items that gain power when used as a set, or legendary items that gain power as you do, and extra capstone abilities for everyone and for specific classes. Why not? Punch the sun, become a god, it says. Punch the sun.
Punch the sun.
Punch the sun. That, to be fair, is not in the actual product description. That's just what the person writing the column about it said. And finally, we have Pathfinder role-playing game Occult Adventures Pocket Edition. When I say finally, I don't mean finally because there's one after this.
Okay. Penultimately.
Penultimately.
Yes.
Occult Adventures obviously came out a while back as a hardcover. This is one of their pocket edition sort of digest-sized versions of it, which are quite popular. I quite like them.
Yes.
So they're doing one of those, and there's the Ultimate Wilderness pocket edition as well.
Oh, okay.
It's coming out very soon. So they're still producing first edition stuff, despite the fact the second edition is imminent.
Yes. No,
so I wonder when obviously they're going to stop at some point, but it's really interesting to see when.
Well, there's surely a lot of back compatibility, I'd have thought, like between Pathfinder 1 and Pathfinder 2.
I don't know how compatible the rules are. A lot of the accessories, definitely.
Yes.
Although I did notice that they had rebranded their initiative tracker. Oh, yeah, so now you've got to get the Pathfinder 2 initiative tracker rather than the Pathfinder...
You can't play Pathfinder 2 with a Pathfinder 1 initiative tracker, Russ. That simply won't work.
It's exactly the same.
No, they're completely different. Look, this one says Pathfinder 1st edition, this one says Pathfinder 2nd edition. They're very different products.
Yes.
Now, shut up and buy it. Why is there a Dungeons and Dragons cartoon on the thing?
There isn't.
It isn't. Oh, okay.
No. So
I'm sad.
We can mention. So Matt Corley. He's a freelance RPG writer.
Yes.
He's written for Kobold Press and Peterson Games.
Sweet.
He tweeted this image, and as you can see, this image is an image of the D&D cartoon.
Of which I have fond memories.
Yes. With a caption, pre-hype, hype for an amazing project coming to Kickstarter this summer.
Right.
So, of course, someone immediately asked, is this a reboot of the D&D cartoon? Given the fact that he'd posted a picture of the D&D cartoon.
That would be the question that would spring to mind.
To which he emphatically replied,
yes,
it's not.
Oh, so then no.
He says, the amazing folks at Critical Role have D&D cartoons one in hand, which it seems like they do. So...
But didn't they not make approximately all the money for their recent Kickstarter?
They still are making it. It's not over yet. 2 weeks to go.
Well, actually, can we have a quick progress report on the Kickstarter of the Critical Role?
Well, let's do that after I finish this one.
Okay, go on then. Fine, if we must.
Stay on target.
Finish one item before moving on to the other. I don't care for your highbound traditionalism.
So, we don't know what it is.
Yes.
We know it's coming to Kickstarter this summer.
Okay.
He did mention back in February that his youngest had been diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, poor chap.
And he produced a T-shirt for charity. And also he's posted some more images.
Yes.
Like friends of kids with cancer and stuff like that. So I am thinking it might be a charity-related product of some kind.
Okay.
But, he's doing a sort of pre-hype at the moment, not spilling the beans.
Yes.
So I guess we'll find out sometime soon.
Okay. I should look forward to it.
New York?
Not well, I'll be honest.
Of New York.
I am aware of New York.
In New York, they have some things called newspapers.
Newspapers?
Yeah. I haven't seen a newspaper in years, but apparently they still use them in New York, apparently.
I haven't heard that name in a very long time.
The New York Times.
Yes?
Which is one of those newspapers.
Interesting. I think they... Oh, I see. So it's basically like they have a printout of the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You can buy yourself a printout of the New York Times website.
Oh, that sounds inefficient, but please, continue.
Has an article...
Yes.
Entitled,
Yeah.
Why the Cool Kids Are Playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Aye. What a time to be alive.
So it's by a science journalist and novelist called Annalie Newitz.
Okay.
And it's a long article talking about how or why people and why D&D is getting more popular these days. And why she in particular is playing it, and she's talking about the social element of it rather than the game itself.
Yes.
Basically, she's and comparing it to sort of playing video games online with people or using Facebook, and how it's more personal, all that sort of thing.
Yeah, just being in person with people is more sociable than having abuse shouted at you by a overstimulated 12-year-old online than writing things on Facebook in the vaguest possible fashion, or indeed then board games, at least with the people I see playing, because with board games it's like people just sit around the table and they're always looking at the table and they never talk to you, whereas role-playing, the point is to talk to each other.
Well, she says that basically the premise of the thing is basically you can have 10,000 followers on Twitter, but more valuable than that is 5 people who you're going to see every week to play a game socially with. And that's a more valuable thing to have than the 10,000 followers on Twitter.
Well, certainly a lot nicer. I don't know. I've never had 10,000 followers on Twitter, but I've certainly had 5 people want to come around and play games with me.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
They love you.
Yay!
Somebody loves you.
It had to happen sometime. The fools. Now I'll crush them.
What else? There's an unboxing of the Starfinder beginner box.
Oh, yes.
Which Paizo have press. I'm definitely going to buy this beginner box because I really like this beginner box.
Yes.
It's not even just for the game themselves necessarily, but for the stuff that comes with it. They're sort of higher production values than, say, the D&D one.
Okay.
They come with maps and pawns and stands and a whole load of stuff. And so I am definitely going to pick. I'm talking of beginner boxes.
Yes.
The Stranger Things beginner box. People in America have been receiving their Amazon orders despite the fact that it was supposed to come out May the 1st. So it's released early, and it's appeared on Amazon Co UK finally as well. Ooh. So I've pre-ordered it.
Yeah, get in.
So May the 1st, hopefully, we'll have a copy of it.
We could do an unboxing.
It's a podcast unboxing.
Yes.
Amazing stuff.
You can tell me all the cool stuff that's in it. I'll be like, ooh, shiny.
Yes.
Nice.
Well, when it arrives, we'll do that. But if you're in America, you can have it already because Americans are special and better than us in every possible way.
That's true.
Would you like to do our favourite game in all the world?
Let's do our favourite game in all the world ever. The one where you read out the title of a Kickstarter, and then based on that information alone, I have to guess what it's about.
What? You mean our favourite game in all the world, where I read out the name of a Kickstarter, and you have to guess what it is based on just the name?
Yes, that's the one.
Yes. It's almost like that's exactly what you just said.
Well, it was similar, but I think I said it better.
I think I said it better. Listeners, who said it better?
Hashtag Team Peter. I saw a hashtag going. I have to roll with it. I'm very basic that way.
Yeah, hashtags don't work by saying them.
Oh, that's what Russ thinks. Be sure to pop along to the Discord and let him know what you think. That's important.
Right, our favourite game in all the world. Let's begin.
Very well. Onwards.
Number 1. Ultimate Spheres of Power.
Ooh, that's intriguing. Ultimate Spheres of Power. I am hoping for magic items, like sort of big, powerful magic items.
Spherical.
Spherical ones, perhaps, but not necessarily confined to. Ultimate spheres of power. Would you like to beep a little more loudly? I'm not sure the listeners can hear it quite so well. Let's see. Ultimate spheres of power. Spheres could also be a reference to sort of realms, as in music of spheres. But yeah, I think it is a list of... It's a book of high-powered magic items. I think probably for 5th Ed. How am I doing?
Not very well.
Yay!
So this is for Pathfinder.
Oh.
And it's a magic system.
Okay.
The original Spheres of Power was a magic system released in 2014.
Okay.
And it's kind of a flexible, easy-to-use, talent-based magic system to sort of replace the Vancian magic system D20 games traditionally have.
Yeah. So less spell slots, more versatile, as it were.
Yeah. And then there's been since then over 20 handbooks of new content. Things like Items of Power, the Telekinetics Handbook, the Geomancer's Handbook, the Conjurer's Handbook, the Shapeshifter's Handbook, loads of them, 20 odd of them. So this is the ultimate Spheres of Power, which combines content from all these handbooks with the original rules, the original source book, to make a brand new and very, very, very comprehensive and extremely flexible magic system that you can plug into your Pathfinder game. You look very excited.
I'm just pondering how it would work. That's the question that I have to ask. I mean, yeah, it sounds interesting.
I don't know how it compares to Elements of Magic. 15 years ago, I can't remember when. Anyway, which was about those verb noun maxims.
Yes.
Originally inspired, of course, by Ars Magic.
Let's
do. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
Yes.
An Inner Darkness.
Something to do with Call of Cthulhu. Probably a setting book. I'm not working with lots here. I don't know what I got. Inner Darkness. What can I elaborate from? An Inner Darkness, and it will be about, I would hope, investigators dealing with like they have, in the course of doing their adventure, they find that they are becoming more and more corrupt, and the final sort of big face-off is dealing with something that's come at them from the inside, maybe? I don't know. That's better. I don't know how you'd implement that. But no, I don't know. Inner Darkness, I think vaguely Call of Cthulhu. I don't know.
Okay, well, you're right, it is Cthulhu.
Okay.
So it's a collection of between 5 and 7 adventure scenarios.
Okay.
I don't know if it's 5 or 7. Between 5 and 7, so 6 adventure scenarios, I guess.
Is it 5 and 7 inclusive?
I don't know. Set in the 1920s.
Okay, it seems important to be aware of how many adventures you are selling in your book. I would say.
I guess possibly it's based on stretch goals or something.
Nice.
But anyway, they say it's a well-researched, historically accurate and challenging adventures with a darker, harsher and more brutal tone than our fans might be used to. This will be a more mature book, one focused on adult themes, designed to spark deep conversations among your players for years to come. More
brutal than Call of Cthulhu players are used to. I see. Adult themes is always like a bit of a worry for me. Like, what exactly are your adult themes? What do you think they are? Okay, that's... I am intrigued, I won't lie. But I probably want to find out a lot more about it. When's that Kickstarter finish?
On Sunday, April the 14th.
Okay, so it's coming Sunday. For those of you listening to podcasts that
come
out.
Information here. So these scenarios will of course feature the malignant taint of the Cthulhu mythos, but at the forefront of each will be one or more examples of social injustice, societal corruption, and mankind's inhumanity to man. Okay. So it reminded me of Harlem Unbound a little.
I'm very much getting that vibe. Yeah, it sounds... I was going to make some vaguely sarcastic comment about the importance of historical accuracy when dealing with shock-offs. But it sounds like they were going for a different approach altogether.
Well, there you go. I'm going to give you 2 points for getting Cthulhu, but nothing else.
That's very generous of you.
I think so. So you now at a total of 2 points for the week.
You don't know that I've got any. I didn't get anything else because they haven't given you any spoilers. It might turn out that they do the Kickstarter and it's like, actually, Peter was bang on. I look forward to your retroactive apology and points.
All right, then. Well, I'm going to give you a really, really easy one now. Are you ready?
Oh, Ishmaster.
What is
Yes.
base?
Thanks, Russ. Well, it's clearly a game based off the early 2000s meme, All Your Base Will Belong to Us, in which you have a... based upon a fleet which discovers that it has been set up somehow with some sort of explosive device, and then they discover that there is an overwhelmingly powerful entity which has taken over very nearly every single base. All of your base are in fact belong to them, and then as a direct result of that, your players are fighting back against these mysterious and apocalyptic alien overlords.
Nope.
No, I don't think so.
Minus 1,000,000 points.
Marvellous.
So, it is a collaborative, setting agnostic,
Yes.
card-based,
Yes.
collaborative, I said collaborative once, storytelling, role-playing game for 2 to 7 players, designed for one-shot game.
Okay then.
There we go, that's all I know. The players draw cards in order to randomly determine the setting of the story you are about to tell. These story elements are somewhat general, which leaves room for you, the players, to fill in the gaps and create a unique setting. The same concept of randomization also applies to creating your character, the predicaments they become entangled in, and the actions they will take.
Oh, you didn't give me the title. It was Basic Card PG.
No, I thought that would give it away. I generally don't give the post-colon bit.
Ah, I see, yeah. Wow.
Because the post-colon bit generally explains the...
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Well, that would make the game a different style of game altogether. Okay, anyway.
And I think we're done.
Huzzah!
That's it for our favourite game in all the world.
Woo!
Well, that was fun.
Right, so, do we have any questions from our patrons?
Yes!
Huzzah!
So this is our latest segment, which is highly, highly popular.
Yes.
It is called Patrons Ask Questions, aka Morris and Peter Solve Your Problems. This segment is where people who very kindly back our podcast over on Patreon,
Yes.
Which you can find at patreon.com
Yes.
/Morris.
That's MORRUS.
And you can, each week, give us questions which we will do our best to answer, although
Yes.
we do not promise to be accurate, helpful, useful, or correct in any way whatsoever. But we'll do what we can.
Yes.
In our usual professional way.
Super professional.
Okay, first one is from Lee Donovan.
Hey, Lee.
Lee would like to know, what's your favourite colour?
Thanks, Lee.
Not really. Lee would like to know,
Oh,
what is your favourite colour?
it's green.
Mine's green too.
Oh, I particularly like the shade British Racing Green.
Oh, I do too.
Oh, there you go. We're colour buddies and we didn't even know it.
You're copying me.
How am I copying you if I said it first?
I'm 2 years older than you, therefore.
Ah, interesting. Only 2? Really?
About to.
Oh,
Was it maybe 3? Huh?
the ears is not kind, listeners. Oh, no. Oh, apparently it's also the section where Peter's mean to Russ.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, let's take a selfie because I feel this is an important thing to get Russ's face. That's it, Russ. Hide it. Hide it so we do not have to look upon your shame. Oh. What are you looking at? There you go. It's taken from the waist up only, so you won't have to see me in all my glory, as it were.
Well,
Yes.
Lee would like to know,
What would you like to know, Lee?
how
Yes.
do you approach
Yes.
directing players when they have gone off course in an adventure without railroading them, asking for a friend?
Okay, so a bit of context. I actually know Lee. He's running. I'm in the game. He's running. So how do you tell them how do you tell players when they've decided to completely go off on a madly different tangent?
I have one of those big, those really powerful water pistol things.
Oh, yeah,
and if they do
super
that, you just unload on them until they go in the right direction. It works a treat. It's brilliant. I had to upgrade from the electric shock buzzer chairs, which were unpopular.
Well,
and didn't work well with the water.
I thought they'd work better with the water. But I mean, the problem is like just the running costs of them alone, ruinous. How do you keep your pack of players on track?
Well, he says without railroading, and I've said before
Yes.
that I don't think railroading is a dirty word. It's only if you do too much of it.
Yes.
It's, like anything, too much of anything is really bad.
Yep.
Too much water is really bad, but doesn't mean you shouldn't drink water. Mm-hmm. So, I think railroad them a little bit then. Just a little bit. A little hint of railroading in. Drop that in. It's fine. It's a game. It's allowed.
Yep.
Unless you feel like they're deliberate. And given that I know that one of your players is Peter, and I know that Peter's ability to stay on target is almost non-existent.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by a shiny thing. So what you should probably do, Lee, is it depends on how badly off course they've gone. If they've gone wildly off course and they're having fun, you can just roll with it. If you're like, no, this is not what I'm planned for, this is what I think they should be doing, then you can always just like rephrase it.
Well, that's the other thing. Is what they're doing better than what you had in mind in the first place? If it is, go with it. Quentin Bracken.
Yes.
We'd like to know. Your party has decided to soldier on deeper into the dungeon without resting.
Nice.
Just one more room.
Nice.
They get themselves into a dire situation.
Okay.
Do you help by fudging rolls, weakening the foes, or dumbing them down? Or do you let the players suffer for their bad choices?
Yes. Let them suffer for their terrible decisions.
Yeah, I agree. To an extent. Don't just like TPK and end the game.
Yeah.
Just because you're annoyed.
Well, there are a couple of options you can go for. The 13th age option is one I'm personally a big fan of, although it's going to depend on exactly when you throw it to them.
You could just give them some hints.
Well, the 13th age option is that they can run away, they automatically succeed, but they take, quote, a campaign loss.
Right.
This campaign loss being because they have run away and not been heroic, something bad has happened.
So what sort of campaign loss?
It's going to depend upon what sort of game you're running. It's like, if you're doing a strict dungeon crawl, then potentially time-sensitive goals have expired.
Sure, okay.
Or new monsters moved in.
Okay, yeah. So the 13th age option,
is
let them run away for free. I like.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's not for free. They will incur a strategic loss rather than a tactical one.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Or I think you were saying don't just TPK them, which I believe would be like taking them prisoner.
Well, I guess that is helping them out by fudging, weakening the foes, or dumbing them down. I suppose that's a little bit like that, isn't it? But,
well, yes, a bit like that.
So I guess my answer is yes then. You can do that a little bit if it looks like it's heading towards a TPK. If it just looks like it's going to screw them up and they're going to regret it, then just go ahead with it.
No, I mean, like Dungeons and Dragons characters are incredibly resilient, but yeah, it's just one of those things, really. You could even have
just like
a conversation with them like adults.
Well, just to say to them, you're feeling really tired, and you're,
Yeah.
make it clear to them that they're not in optimal condition right now.
Well, the players should know whether they're in optimal condition right now, and if they. I mean, I always get the opposite problem, which is like players are just like too conservative. They're always like holding stuff back. No, reward them for sticking in with the sort of glorious battle, because clearly, at the end of the day, you think that they are pretty much doomed, but I guarantee they've got something in their back pocket which they think they can bring to the fore, which they will surprise you with, because they're ingenious little fellas players. And again, actually, that sort of the talk to them like adults thing takes us back to Lee's question, which is, talk to your players like adults. Say, I think you're going the wrong way, lads. How about no? Or how about do this instead? And then, leave it up to them to work it out.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the 13th age option you suggested. That's my advice. I like that one.
It's a solid option. I've always been very fond of it.
Yeah. Okay, that is our Patrons Ask Questions, aka Morris and Russ Try to Solve Your Problems section. Done.
Marvellous.
Lovely.
Another magnificent round of Mapakamas sip.
So
we're doing a historical one.
Yes, so this is with apologies to Richard Aronson, the original author of The Tale of Eric and the Dread Gazebo. Just to give it a bit of context, so back in the early 70s, Ed Whitchurch ran his game, and one of the participants was Eric Sorensen. And Eric, it says here, plays something like a computer. When he games, he methodically considers each possibility before choosing his preferred option. If given time, he will invariably pick the optimal solution. It has been known to take weeks. He is, otherwise, in all respects, a superior gamer. Eric was playing a neutral paladin in Ed's game. He was on some lord's lands when the following exchange occurred.
You see a well-groomed garden. In the middle, on a small hill, you see a gazebo.
A gazebo? What colour is it?
It's white, Eric.
How far away is it?
About 50 yards.
How big is it?
Gazebo. It'd be about 30 foot across, 15 foot high, pointed top.
I use my sword to detect good on it.
It's not good, Eric. It's a gazebo.
I call out to it.
It won't answer. It's a gazebo.
I sheath my sword and draw my bow and arrows. Does it respond in any way?
No, Eric. It's a gazebo.
I shoot it with my bow. What happened?
There is now a gazebo with an arrow sticking out of it.
Wasn't it wounded?
Of course not, Eric. It's a gazebo.
But that was a +3 arrow.
It's a gazebo, Eric. A gazebo. If you really want to try to destroy it, you could chop it with an axe, I suppose, or you could try to burn it. But I don't know why anybody would even try. It's a flippin' gazebo.
No axe. Fires. I run away.
Too late. You've awakened the gazebo. It catches and eats you.
Maybe I'll roll up a fire-using mage so I can avenge my paladin. Right, are you ready, Peter, to do our topic of the week?
Absolutely.
And the topic of the week this week is why, oh why,
Yes.
is D&D so popular?
Well, discussed of Tunbridge Wells, that's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked
It
it.
is a good question. So, Peter,
Yes.
why do you think D&D is so...
Well, I think to answer the question properly, we'd have to look at it in a bit of detail, because essentially we've sort of got two simultaneous phenomena
Yes.
going on, which is that you've got lots of new people coming into D&D from outside who've never roleplayed before, and they're choosing D&D of all things to get involved in. And you also have people returning to D&D, gamers, because we're talking specifically about 5th edition D&D. There have previously been at least 4 other editions, and there are countless other pretenders to the throne.
I think we have a sort of fundamental difference in opinion. Well, not difference in opinions, we don't disagree with each other, but I think we...
You're still wrong.
I'll weight on them differently, because you think it's more about the game itself, whereas I think it's more about the brand.
I think it's like it falls down to that. You've got people coming in, like branding will bring people in. I mean, did you want me to argue your point for you, or
Sure, yeah, makes my life easier.
Okay. Well, your idea about the subject is that actual play and podcasts and so forth are very popular. People are seeing stuff on YouTube.
And what they're seeing also quite a lot of is attractive Hollywood-like celebrity.
Yes. They are
having fun.
Yes.
And that is, well, according to Wizards of the Coast at least, that is currently bringing in over 50% of new players coming in because they're seeing streams. And
nice.
My theory on that is, like, role-playing games traditionally used to be a private.
Yes.
It would happen at home.
A shameful thing.
Well,
it was a shameful thing.
Suppose. But more importantly, it was a private thing.
Yes.
People couldn't see you do it, really.
Absolutely.
It usually happened at home. Occasionally you might have a role-playing club, or you might play in the pub, or whatever. But generally speaking, it happened at home.
Yes.
Now, a vast amount of role-playing takes place online.
Yes. It's now become a performance. It's got a performative aspect to it.
So it's now performed in public.
Yes.
And people are flocking to watch these things.
Yes.
And they're seeing people having fun, assuming they're seeing the good ones.
They're seeing attractive people. Well, often attractive people.
They're seeing Critical Role. They're seeing Acquisitions Incorporated.
Yes.
They're seeing Deborah Ann Wall with her thing.
Absolutely.
They're seeing Will Wheaton's...
Relics and Rarities, that's it.
Will Wheaton's tabletop show. They're seeing these...
Geek and Sundry?
Seeing other stuff from Geek and Sundry, yeah. So they're seeing all that, as well as, like, thousands and thousands and thousands...
Yes.
Smaller outfits like Table Story, who do a whole range of stuff, including which is why I know them.
We've got our very own Sector 49
coming to an end in 2 weeks.
Oh, yes.
Coming to a final end. Going to be sad.
Sad.
But all things come to an end.
Well, good story. Stories need an ending.
Yes, yeah. I don't know how it'll end. It's been very, very funny. But anyway,
Oh,
I digress.
yeah.
I digress.
Ups, downs.
I do digress. But so yeah, that's my opinion. It's now a public thing. People are seeing the famous and attractive and successful people
Yes.
are playing it, and they're thinking, "I want a bit of that fun because it looks
Absolutely.
like fun," and that is what's very much helping to drive in the new players.
Yeah, and people see representation. Representation is important.
Well, also as an element of geeks inheriting the earth, isn't it? These are all people that were once kids
Yes.
who played D&D at home in private.
Yes.
Now they're rich and famous and they're running the world,
Yes.
and therefore they're influential. And when they start talking about the fact that they used to play D&D,
Yes.
that makes D&D gain
Yes.
sort of cachet
Absolutely.
by association.
People are very fond of saying mean things about 5th Ed as well, though. But you know what? It's actually quite. If you're actually playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, as opposed to many people's hallucination of what they think 5th edition is, it's actually quite a good game.
It is a good game.
It is.
I don't think it's perfect, but it is a good game.
Oh, far from perfect, but it could definitely do with more support for several things. And there was the known issue of half the content essentially being locked away due to the change in power levels and pace. But you know what? Yeah, it's actually quite a lot of fun.
I think, wasn't it we said earlier that, generally speaking, if you've played quite a lot of games, which admittedly most newcomers to role-playing won't have done,
Yes.
but if you've played quite a lot of games, what you'll generally tend to find is your favourite game, probably, but it's probably your second favourite game.
Yes.
And so when you get a group of 6 people, all of whom are maybe our age and have played quite a lot of games,
Yeah.
we'll all each have our own favourite game, which basically appeals to our particular sensibilities. But all of us will agree that D&D is pretty good. It's probably our second or third favourite game. We're all perfectly happy to play it.
There are some people who are absolutely 100% against it.
Oh,
But
yeah?
It does have a lot of common ground.
Well, there
going
are
for
people
it.
that react against it because it's, which is
Yes.
just that happens with anything. It's just,
And there has been a lot of very bad D&D perpetrated upon the world. I use the word advisedly. I've seen some of it. I may even have done some of it from time to time, but I try not to. If you look at the things that get people interested in the game, there's like elements of risk and gambling and the spontaneous creation of story, and things like a flat D20 roll, even if you're adding numbers to it, this inherent swinginess that comes with it is actually exciting. It's something that I am very ambivalent about, but you know what? If I roll a 20, I'm still very excited about it. And that's, I think, where things like 3.5 really missed a trick, because they made you confirm criticals and so forth. I can understand why you're doing it. It makes it more
3.5
special.
was big. I mean, don't get me wrong, 3.5 was big, and Pathfinder, which is essentially 3.5,
Yes.
spent about 4 or 5 years being bigger than D&D. You know, it's not...
Absolutely. There's nothing that says that D&D will automatically be the biggest game. I mean, but there's a lot of things that they do, like they have support for community-based things, that they're very clear in what it is that they're out to deliver. They have a firm vision of the experience that they want people to have. And they go for it. What can you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think... obviously D&D is kind of synonymous with roleplay. It's got a bit of the Kleenex Hoover about it, hasn't it?
I gotta say, there are people who are like, oh, do you fancy doing some D&D? And it's like, do you mean RPGs or do you mean specifically this specific game? Because, one I can definitely hook you up with. There are lots of people playing RPGs.
On my Thursday night gaming group, whatever game we're playing, I will often just say, we're playing D&D.
Yes.
Even if we're not playing D&D, even if we're playing a sci-fi game,
Absolutely.
I'm still saying we're playing D&D, because D&D has become shorthand for role-playing rather than referring to that specific game, at least in our sort of vocab.
Oh, absolutely. Colonised the mental space of many people. So the idea that you would want to play anything else is bizarre.
Well, there's also the thing like the Twitch categories, where you could say what category your stream was in, because obviously it started off being a
gamer.
video game stuff,
Yeah,
didn't it?
you could watch people playing video games.
Yeah, so when they added the tabletop gaming category, it was just called D&D. So whatever tabletop game you were playing, whatever RPG you were playing, according to Twitch, you were playing D&D.
Right.
So, you know, even when it comes to things like that, I think they've expanded on that now.
Yes.
Because I think they got asked to do so or something. But
they were like, I'm not playing D&D. Could you?
there's certainly an element of that, even when it comes to things like Twitch and stuff like that. Like D&D is basically the category rather than the specific game.
Yes.
Which I imagine was something the Wizards of the Coast wouldn't want, because they wouldn't want their brand name to be diluted so much. I would have thought.
Absolutely.
What's interesting about D&D is that it is its own genre as well. When it started back in sort of the OD&D days, I don't think it drew on an awful lot of literary stuff.
Yes.
And it was kind of more the sort of, this is the game where you can go and play Lord of the Rings, or this is the game where you can go and play Conan, or whatever. These days, D&D has got so much of its own identity sort of baked into it.
Yes.
And style of play and style of adventuring and the whole murder hobo thing and all that sort of stuff, all kind of baked into it.
Oh, the whole underground Vietnam psychology thing.
So it is actually a genre on its own.
Yes.
It's not a fantasy game anymore. It's D&D is the genre.
Yes.
If you went and, it's not the same as Lord of the Rings.
Oh, no.
It's not the same as Game of Thrones.
No,
it's not the same as, a million other different fantasy genres.
There is. It's very well supported for kicking doors down, breaking in, murdering stuff and stealing their things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just called up this list of D&D in popular media, in popular
exciting.
culture, like TV shows it's shown up on and things like that. And there's loads of them. I didn't realise that this was quite this big.
Go on then. What have we got?
So we got Community, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
It featured quite heavily in that.
Yeah.
Freaks and Geeks.
Okay.
In the final episode of the series, James Franco is forced to join the Audio-Visual Club, and the geeks invite him to a game of Dungeons & Dragons. He ends up enjoying it. Sarah Silverman Programme. A planned date night is disrupted by a D&D game.
That will happen.
In The Simpsons,
Yes.
Homer bonds with some new geek friends by playing D&D. For 3 hours, then I was slain by an elf.
Nah.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Did they play D&D in Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
It says here, in the episode Chosen,
Oh, yes.
Andrew, Xander, Giles, and one of the potential slayers, Amanda, play Dungeons and Dragons while Anya sleeps at the table. I don't remember
Seems
that.
legit. I don't remember that either,
No.
but okay.
News Radio. The IT Crowd.
Oh, yeah. Did they play D&D in the IT
Fourth
crowd?
series episode titled Jen the Freddo. Moss has been making his own Dungeons and Dragons game and eventually gets John, Roy and Phil to play. I don't remember that either.
I'm pretty sure I've seen
have to
many
look,
of these.
I've
I'm
seen them
sure-
all, but I don't remember that.
It's like these are things I've sat and watched, and I don't remember these. Yeah, in any way. Go on.
Corner Gas, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Tucker's Luck, don't know what that is either.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's based on Grange Hill. In the third series episode, Peter Tucker Jenkins, played by Todd Carty, plays Dungeons and Dragons at his girlfriend's pal's house. The Dungeon Master is played by Charlie Borman.
Well, now we know.
Never heard of it. Gravity Falls.
Oh, it's amazing.
Don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a cartoon. It's like full of like little Illuminati references. Absolutely hilarious.
Stranger Things, obviously,
Yeah.
is featured in that.
It's pretty explicitly acknowledged in the like text of the film.
The Magicians.
Is that no? What am I thinking of?
Don't know. It says in the 11th episode of the first season,
Yes.
Remedial Battle Magic,
Okay.
as the protagonists discover a Japanese spell called Majiku Misaru, which
yes.
causes Quentin to exclaim, "Magic missile! That's like straight up Dungeons and Dragons."
Legit.
The Big Bang Theory,
Yes.
obviously, it's featured a lot in that. They've had William Shatner, Kevin Smith, Joe Manganiello, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar playing.
Nice. And the Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
Fantastic.
And Paradise PD.
Oh goodness, that's a Netflix animated series.
Okay.
Yes.
I believe you. There's been music where D&D's referenced.
Seems legit.
There's the Flashlight Brown song, Ready to Roll. I don't
Well,
know who this
indeed.
is. Owen Pallett's album, He Poos Clouds.
Good to know.
Stephen Lynch
Okay.
has a comedic song entitled D&D.
Yeah.
Weezer's song, In the Garage, mentions the Dungeon Master's Guide and the 12-sided die.
Okay. Oh, it doesn't have like roll a d6. I'm trying to remember who that's by. But that's on Spotify. Love that song. Love it to bits.
Never heard of it.
Oh, it's a sort of a parody of Like a G6, which was a song that you will definitely not have heard. But I thought it is quite a good one. Daryl, if you can't find it, give me a shout and I'll send you a link so you can stick it in the show notes. Song more people need to hear.
It's also been in film.
No, get away. I think, didn't they make some sort of film about it?
Yes, well, aside from the actual Dungeons and Dragons films,
Oh, yes.
it's in E.T.
Yeah, people keep saying that. I don't remember.
It is, yeah, I remember fairly
Oh,
well.
okay. Cool.
It's in the Futurama film, Bender's Game.
Yeah, I think I've I don't recall it being specifically shouted out, but okay. Futurama is not a big surprise in there, is it?
I don't remember. It says, Bender's game includes D&D as a crucial plot device in which the main characters end up in a fantasy realm, much like the game. The film was already in production upon Gary Gygax's death and debuted later that year, so it was dedicated in his honour.
Okay.
The short film Fear of Girls.
Bit harsh. Crack on.
And the films The Gamers and The Gamers Darkness Rising.
Well, I've seen both of those, and it's like they are explicitly about Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, that's the content of the film being about.
What's Tom Hanks' film?
Oh, is this the one
Mazes
with
and Monsters?
Yeah,
Mazes
that's
and
it.
Monsters. Yes.
Yeah, well, like we all learnt that you shouldn't run around in steam tunnels.
Yeah,
it's bad for you or something.
There was
so bad.
Wasn't the best advert for the game.
Yeah,
but the main point there being is like D&D is all over popular culture.
It is. Yes. Well, it used to be much bigger. Like I'm pretty sure there was a lot of branded advertising, and there was of course that D&D cartoon.
There was that D&D cartoon. Well, there's a Critical Role cartoon coming soon, which is essentially going to be a new D&D cartoon.
At least we know it will have good voice acting.
Yeah, I bet they do get themselves some new branding. I mean, I don't know whether or not, but they've definitely got a great relationship with the Coast.
I imagine so, yes.
Or D&D, as they now call it. A sentient entity known as D&D, which announces itself frequently.
D&D is watching you.
And that's the other reason D&D is so popular. It's now sentient. It's now Skynet.
And I, for one, welcome our new role-playing game Overlord. So there we have it. It's like if you aren't into D&D, then D&D will come around your house and sort you out.
Yeah. So what other reasons do you think there are for... I mean, we could just establish our premise.
I mean, fantasy...
How popular is D&D?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Because you're kind of begging the question here a little bit.
It is pretty popular. I mean, most of the games, from my personal experience at my club, are either D&D or D&D themed.
I mean, we did an episode exactly how popular
we did.
And it turned out there's 15 million players in North America.
Whew, that's a lot of players.
A lot of players.
That is. That's the ones we know about. Like, they're the ones into 5th edition D&D and other stuff, and they're doing it online.
I don't know what their methodology was for determining that. I am assuming there was some survey-based stuff, so I don't think it was just online stuff. I think it was. I'm sure they recruited a proper market research company and properly did that market research.
That'd be a hell of a thing.
I don't think they just looked at Twitch and guessed.
That seems like a perfectly reasonable methodology to me. It's quantitative research.
Yeah, but yeah, it is. It's bigger than probably it ever has been. I mean, I don't know. I know it was massive in the 80s.
Yes,
like proper massive. But
I'm really excited for it. To be honest, it means there's loads and loads of new role players coming into sort of the area. It's like there are people whose ideas I will not immediately know what they're about. It means that there's potential for more and more people to play games, to create stories that, like, I just literally will never have heard before.
Oh my goodness! I found a list of notable D&D players on Wikipedia, and it's really long.
Who are this?
Like too long for me to read out.
That is something quite. If Russ finds a list online that he's not prepared to read out, you know it must be quite long indeed.
Yeah, Carl Urban did not know. There we go.
Oh, well, he seems to sort. I'll be honest.
Rainn Wilson.
Isn't that
He's in
lady?
The Office. Actually, Office.
Is that the British from the American version?
The American.
Oh, okay. Oh, look, it's got R.A. Salvatore. R.A. Salvatore plays D&D. Who would have guessed?
Trey Parker.
Oh, the South Park chap.
Yeah.
Oh, George R.R. Martin likes D&D. Well, again, we did not see
No surprise here. David Mitchell. I don't think it's our David Mitchell. It's going to be a different David Mitchell. It says novelist. Well, anyway, it's a long list.
It is a long list.
It is a long list. What were we talking about before I interrupted with this long list?
Sorry. Anyway, you were talking about how D&D was awesome and you can't wait to play it again.
Yeah, I like D&D a lot.
Yeah. I think what we really need to look at also is, in terms of genre, it is a genre of its own, but also has a handy go-to. It's in a pretty strong place because fantasy is something that people will tend to reach for because everyone can agree on what it is.
Yes.
Like sci-fi, we spent 45 minutes longer. We were chatting with Ed Chat and we couldn't really come up with a workable definition apart from you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Whereas fantasy, it's happened in the past. Or we've got all sorts of pseudo-medieval things.
Magic.
There's magic, yay!
Magic. I think one of the things about D&D, talking about fantasy, TV and films,
yes.
as we've said, that D&D is its own genre.
Yes.
And they've attempted to put that genre splat onto a screen a few times. And pretty much every time, that genre, outside of the confines of a role-playing game and put on a screen for you to watch, comes across as very hokey.
Oh, so hokey.
Whereas Lord of the Rings doesn't so much, or Game of Thrones doesn't so much. So I think then D&D might suffer from a slight problem that it doesn't really translate that well to film. I don't know whether this is true or whether it's just they've just been. I mean, they were bad of it, but
pretty bad. Yeah.
But I wonder if just like D&D itself is just a little bit too hokey to take off the page and put on the screen. I don't know.
Is it
Because the things that make it good as a role-playing game make it bad as a visual.
I think part of the fun of it is there is a certain amount of chaos and creating your own story. And it's harder to be invested if you're not there.
But it's also very kitchen sinky. Especially it's got everything thrown into it.
Yeah.
So if you try and create some kind of show out of it, a show has to be much more focused.
That's true.
For a good show, you'd have to take D&D, that whole big kitchen sink, and you'd have to strip away 99% of it and come up with something core and focused and good.
No, absolutely. I think that's what they've actually ended up doing, which has disappointed fans and confused others because they have removed 99% of it. Like the D&D movie, I mean, what we have, it was basically, well, we'll do humans, we'll do elves because they're cheap, because all we need is a pointy ear perspective.
Yeah, but they've got random cameos and beholders and all sorts of stuff like that, which just doesn't need to be in there, and they just make the whole thing look hokey.
No, that's true. I mean, basically, the thing that you'd really need is you need to get that story just so right.
Yeah, it is the story. It is the story.
Yeah.
You can't just take D&D and set it up on the screen and hope for the best. You need an actual story.
No. It's not like running a role-playing game where you're just like,
yeah, exactly.
Just take a punt at it. I'm sure it'll work out fine.
Well, we'll see. I mean, we're going to see the Critical Role cartoon, which is basically their role-playing game slapped up on the screen. So
absolutely, but that's got a huge fan base of people who invest in it.
That's going to actually be good. Yeah.
To be fair, it's like I don't know. It's like how do people watch these 4-hour episodes? I don't get it.
Time. Anyway,
we should probably
start winding up.
Yes.
And we haven't really established why D&D is so popular. Or have we? Oh, we did. I think we did.
Well, to sum up why D&D is so popular, it's enjoying a massive mixed approach from the Wizards of the Coast backed up by Hasbro for marketing and branding, together with very popular and widespread community support, including from public figures. That's making it look cool. It's making it part of the cultural zeitgeist, and there's a lot of people.
At a time where geek culture is mainstream.
Geek culture is very much mainstreaming. In terms of the actual game itself, it's not badly broken. It's a lot simpler to get into than, any of the previous editions.
So, yes, we have definitively established why D&D is so popular for the first time ever.
You're welcome.
Yes. Yeah, we did that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was us. All
Prove
us.
it otherwise.
We also know now that D&D has become sentient and is announcing itself.
D&D is watching you.
Yes. And that is going to be an ongoing joke for the rest of this podcast life. So thank you, everybody, for listening.
Andy, thank you very much. Just as ever, it's been really marvellous to be here.
And thanks for listening. And I have been Morris, who you can find on Twitter at Morris.
I've been Peter Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Role Players. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
My ears hurt. That was awful. The worst. I'm going to be punishing those two for this awful performance. I just have to decide whether to put them both in the Iron Maiden or have them eaten alive by sandwich ants.